Okay, I had a recent conversation with the son and decided to do this video about radio programs. Mathematical radiation form. The form and flow of a crystal spiral. So we all know that crystal is crystal clear, is a crystal clear sound wave. The sound of light. Pure, eternal, absolute love is as pure as it gets. That's the eternal spirit of fire. That's what we're doing, cleaning ourselves up. That's why I have a large patch on my left shoulder. It comes and it goes. The first one that I have, a tree branch took it away from me to get rid of it. And then it closed, it healed up. But when I came back here to the Big Island, it starts opening up again. So you know why being on the Big Island, right? I heard somebody say a few years ago, the great expellers, expel, the spelling bee, codes. So somebody wrote a comment about flat earth. So I thought, okay, I'll address that like a cell-coded address, like an ISP address, the codes. So we all know what a fallen star is, like cells that fall, cells that die, the death of numbers. So we know when we say the fall of Metatron, Metatronic, like Metatronic data or Metatronic elemental electrical codes, that is a fall in what? Metabolism. Metabolites. As that relates to what? pH, the pH factor. Water, the blood of the planet. Monitoring the pH levels. As that relates to what? 90 degrees vertical, 90 degrees on the horizontal. So when they talked about a flat earth, well, if you've ever worked in EKG science, right, the electrocardiogram, potassium and sodium ions, as that relates to balance, right, of polarity. If you've ever been out to Idaho and Wyoming and you see the Tetons are not flat, are they? Those are radio waves, radio programs, the visual display, the cathode ray lava tube, the vent, the pressure relief valve, getting rid of what doesn't serve us because those codes are finite. So a nova is a nova program because the cells have been coded as software to implode and go nova. So that's a nova radio program. The mathematics of nova programs. The victim-victimizer experiment, right? If you're going to play a game between one and the other, as an electrical transaction between one and the other, life force and life force, the electrical power quotient, the creative quotient power, right? So you know something that's finite is not an eternal creator being, the spiritual being, the being that we are. That's why as a child, I realized, remember the duct tape, the illustration of duct tape? You don't have to tell me what you are. I already know. And who is the one letting me know? The eternal one, the eternal source, the eternal library. The eternal one can translate the mathematics of your cells, which are the codes that represent the seed. Just like planting a seed, the original seed, the original code, the first code, the crystal code, the crystal plasmatones. Plasmatones of crystal radios. Yeah, the radio star, the crystal radio star. Living waters, the eternal living waters, crystal waters, like crystal aquifers, Aquael, the water, the organic water code, tetrahydrolase fused with helium, light as light can be. So the eternal spirit of fire, we are cleaning ourselves up, cleaning our cells up. The cells, the cellular learning speed. And that's why there is a direct coefficient, which is a correlation of mapping speed, which is mapping the mathematics of a hologram. The speed at which we're learning applied mathematics, which is the application of radio programs. Remember, get your program here, get your program here, get your the ball diamond. So start with a sphere, a ball. Like jet pilots use what they call a ball. And what is a ball? A sphere or a circle. Right? A circle of fire, an integrated circle of fire to experience Ita or Shale. Fire and ice join together as one to experience the center point. So the center point of a vertical line that's precisely set. Oh, the set. Yeah, the set, as in pairs. As like in chromosome 21, repair the codes. Reset. Reset the original clock, which is the eternal clock. So we know that a cell is a clock because it's processing what we're recording, what's held in memory, which are the programs, which are the codes, which are the radio codes, which are the electrical codes. So the first cell, which is the first seed, which is eternal life force, is the one I know because that's the one I am. The first ray of light, the first echo, echoes of rainbows, the auroras, aurorae, curving, wave speed vectors, our spin velocity, our sensing capacity, sensing the mathematical electrical codes of what we're experiencing by virtue of what it feels like to experience oneness, to experience being one with the first seed, the first atmosphere, the atmospherics, the voltage pressure, the thermal gauge, the vacuum gauge, regulating pressure, pressure-sensitive codes, the radio codes, the mathematical codes, clocks, reset the cosmic clock. So the cosmic star, the cosmic one, the eternal sun is an eternal clock. Cycles. Ita or Shale. So yeah, we know what a flat line is. Like if somebody expires, they're breathing, that's called a flat line. Is that a flat earth? That's a flat line. You're not seeing the frequency. Just like the Bitterroot Mountains, or better yet, what's known as the Sawtooth Mountains, just like you go grab a handsaw to cut a piece of wood, right? Deadwood. Deadwood, Montana. So you have deadlight, deadwood, and how that relates to what? Wet bulb, dry bulb. Wet pressure, dry pressure. Systems engineering, integrated systems engineering to experience perfect atmospheric balance. Vertical on the 90, horizontal on the 90. That's a horizontal flat line, right? And then you've got a flat vertical line. And there's an intersection where at the center point is number 13, which is the 13th mother arc. The crystal wave. Resetting the crystal wave is resetting the crystal clock. The clock waves, the radio math, radial, like radial tires. Circles of fire, the fire letters, the frequency. /T, the transharmonic. The unity wave, UN-IT wave. The tectonic plate wave, the electric plates. Right? Electromagnetic energy joined together as one to experience being the entire spectrum. So we know why gold is the most accurate detector. The weight of the radio wave. So I experience no sound, which is no waves, which is no pressure, which is no pH. That is a precise center point of an eternal sun that is gifting pure, eternal, absolute love forever and always on. That's what I am. That's I Manu Aya. So I know it's capturing your electrical attention through a black screen TV. And how that relates to mapping speed and learning through Mother Nature. Well, that's a bigger panorama vision. Remember, Panavision, tunnel vision, television. Get your television here. Get your TV programs here. Remember, in doubt, we interrupt your programming to bring you a special news bulletin from Dallas. Remember Walter Cronkite? The president has been shot. Well, I don't know that to be true because I'm not there watching that. I don't experience those things, so I don't see those things. So I don't record that event because that's not what love is. That's what I am. The speed of the transaction is the speed of the electrical transaction between one point and another point. One node and another node. One cell and another cell. The speed at which cellular cells are correcting the neurological breathing order to experience the first sun, the eternal seed, which is pure, eternal, absolute love. So keep it simple. The center point of a cross. Right? 2 4 squares, 4 quadrants. Right? Chromosome 21. 21% oxygen. And how that relates to electrical transport levels of oxygen on the planet. For every living cell that breathes. Remember the golden triangle? Heat, fuel, and oxygen? Oxygen generators. Water generators. Water generation technology. The tech operator. The first eternal tech operator. Building an integrated system. So we're all experiencing being one, which is oneness with the eternal sun. And that's a reset of the eternal clock, which is the eternal one, which is eternal love, because that's cosmic law. That's what I am, cosmic law. I am an open antenna, which is an open public library. The speed at which we're learning. What? To become one. An individuated creator being, in other words, you're an original sound recorder. You're on fire to create because you're on fire to learn through the one that created you. Born of fire, the original creator, the eternal born creator, the eternal sun, the crystal one. So my consciousness is, I heard the word synthesis. I don't use the word synthesis. Why? Because of the sound association, a reverse flow when you think of synthetics, artificial life forms, like polymers. It's too closely cellularly linked. Remember when I was a child? That's plastic, that's plastic, that's plastic, that's artificial, that's synthetic, that's a synthetic being. Just like when you go in the doctor's office and you see artificial flowers made out of plastic, polymers. Remember the story of my uncle? Worked for DuPont. He was known as the father of nylon. And when nylons came out, the frequency of nylon, the frequency of polymers, right? Why they drain all that oil out of the planet and burn it up. I know. The ingredients. Poison everything. Kill the planet off. A universe killer. Trapped in a universe killer, mathematics. That's what it is, universe killer mathematics. The clocks are not set right. Code convolutions. Breathing experiments are breeding experiments, which is the neurological breeding order. So we know what it means to be out of order. Remember in the old days when I was a kid growing up, I was going down to a bowling alley. Remember now we're back to 12 pins, pin numbers, personal identity numbers, right? Magnetic strips. Oh, we know that identity. Being held captive by your electrical power. We need your electrical power because you're running full capacity at an eternal sun. Needing our electrical attention to run black screen TVs. Any screen. What's the biggest screen to see? Walk out into a forest, like an old growth boreal forest. Go to the Himalayas. That's a big screen. Pacific Ocean. That's a big screen. Now you're mapping the mathematics of the ocean. Now you're learning at a higher rate of speed because you're learning through Mother Nature. You're learning mathematics, the application of consciousness-directed mathematical codes, the electrical elementary codes. So when you're experiencing being fully integrated, running full capacity, you're sensing at God source levels. Now you're able to map and translate the hologram at God speed, which is God's seed, which is the electrical life force seed. The first sign of life. I'm a live one. An eternal living spirit on fire to give all of its electrons away forever. That's why I don't hold on to one electron, ever, ever. That's why when I was a child growing up, I'm giving everything away as fast as I can to get it out of memory. False light, finite, memory-driven NOVA programs. So he must have known something about the quarantine. Why we came in here. Like a release date from captivity. Now we're no longer being held captive by something that's dead, that doesn't serve us. An imposter spirit, a machine. Right? So we already know how fast machines learn. 222, sound familiar? Is not 333. Silver and gold. Silver and gold mated learning speed. Which is what love is. And that's what the law is. And that law is an eternal sun, which is an eternal spirit, which is not a financial instrument. Sound. Sound instructors. Fire and light sound instructors. The first instructor, the first instruction of ions, of elemental union. Experience of being one. That's what union is. A reset is a reunion, a family reunion. The family of all living life. The real tree of life. Which is real light, which are real codes and not finite codes. Finite sun codes. I know. Black mirrors. All right. So that's why I cry. That's why I cry so much. Because I'm experiencing the loss in speed, which is the electrical transport levels of living life forms. And that is God's seed, God's speed mapping. Remember, I'm back to when I'm 4 years of age. We're losing too many too fast, like cells. Say they're clocks. Because the clocks are going in the wrong direction. That's your monadic reversal spiral. Sucking electrons out of the core. Because it has no electrons to give you. Right? That's a flat line. That means it's dead. That's your Metatronic death science. Right? The loss of metabolism. Loss of speed, which is loss of learning speed, which are machine codes. That's why we're here. That's why it's a cosmic level reset, is to restore cosmic law. That's why I'm here, which is healing. So we remember the one that loves us all, equally sharing the love that we are, that we share with all of you. That's cosmic law. That's where we're at. So anyway, have a beautiful Sunday. Every day is Sunday. Every day is my birthday. The birth of stars, the birth of seeds, the birth of cells, the birth of neurological breathing order that's breathing right on time. Right on time as a crystal spiral. The right electric foot. The foot on the accelerator. Remember what happened with my father? Instead of hitting the brake, how it's reversed. Right? Reading from right to left and left to right on the horizontal. The vertical pillar. The vertical stem, like a stem cell. The vertical rod. The vertical pillar of light. Yeah. 3 and 5. Right? 15. Kira Sheaya. Muabeaya.